So Rupert Lowe brought out the Rape Gang Inquiry Report. So this is really, it's been really, really bad, okay? This is bar none the worst thing I've ever read. I've known about the rape gangs longer than Americans, but I didn't grasp the scope or the scale of what was going on. Forget about Epstein. This is a crime against humanity on the scale of the Holocaust, the Khmer Rouge, or the Israeli atrocities on Gaza. This is systematic, intentional, targeted kidnapping, rape, and torture of white Christian girls in England, specifically chosen due to their race and religion. And I'm not going to read a lot of the details, right? Preteens raped by dogs. That's not a good one, is it? That's a pretty bad one. So, and we finally have the number that we've been waiting to receive. 87 to 95% of rape gang members were Muslims. Do you remember yesterday when that guy was saying that I didn't have any data and that I didn't know what I was talking about? Well, I wonder what they would say about this. They'd probably say that the data is wrong. They'd say that it's not true, or come up with some other way to ignore this, right? And I've said it. You don't say no way, right? And I've got a data set. Yeah, exactly. And so we all knew this is what was happening, right? We do. And we need to make the Nuremberg trials look like a picnic. No one involved must escape the death penalty. Prepared her for anal gang rape by using a pump to expand her anal passage. And gang rape by 5 or 6 men. At one point, she had 4 men inside of her. And after raping her, you threatened her with your lock knife. Your reaction was to pick up a baseball bat with a silver metal handle, strike her on the head with it, and insert the baseball bat inside of her vagina. This is a girl who was 12. So this is looking really bad. How do we know this is true? Well, why don't you just think about it? Why don't you think about it? What do you think? You think it's fake? Let's be honest, what the fuck? Yeah, it's really bad. Before gang raping Taylor, they chanted about Allah, did across the nation. It's all linked to Islam. Read the full report here. Oh my God. So many people need to be executed, man. These horrific crimes have only escalated in recent decades, especially following Tony Blair's 1997 victory and the start of orchestrated mass immigration. With greater numbers came greater opportunities for abuse. Perpetrators built organized networks that transported victims between towns and cities and passed girls between multiple adult men. So each of these areas, the same tactics were used. Girls as young as 11 were targeted with gifts, alcohol, and drugs, collected in taxis from the school gates, care homes, and streets, taken to houses, and then repeatedly raped by groups of men, passed between perpetrators, trafficked across country lines, and then impregnated and forced into abortions. Most victims endured violence, were filmed for blackmail, or were told they were white trash or kafar who deserved punishment. And so, wow. The authorities at every level, including the police, social services, and health services, schools, licensing bodies, and politicians knew the patterns, possessed the intelligence, and still failed to protect the country's children. The evidence establishes that a national scandal of repeated rape, trafficking, torture, pregnancy, forced Islamic conversion, and lifelong trauma enabled by institutional denial, political calculation, and the fear of the accusation of racism took place over decades. Well, what do you do? What do you do in a situation like this? It's worse than Epstein. I know. It's infinitely worse than Epstein. Because the thing is that no matter how bad Epstein is, he's only one person. These people are basically all of the worst accusations are like the actual events that happened inside of this. It's way worse, exactly. Not just say, think about it. You reach millions of people. You can't really said explicitly things. So you're mad that I'm indicating that I think that you should do extreme measures. Yeah, I'll make it very clear. I think that anybody that was involved in this should be put to the death penalty. Period. That's my perspective. I mean, it's very simple, actually. It's extremely simple. Without a question. Yeah, publicly. That's it. Yeah, I mean, duh. I mean, what else is, you're literally ignoring a bunch of, little girls getting raped constantly over and over. How is that not death penalty? That's the only answer you could have. What do you mean? He thought he had a point. Well, I mean, there's some people, again, I think that, and the reason that I use like a lot of this, you know, what you would say kind of extreme language is because I want to normalize it. I want to normalize the thought of this type of accountability. I want to normalize the behavior like this. I want people to listen to this and I want them to think, you know what? Actually, I'm not alone. Actually, it's okay for me to want this. And actually, it's okay. And if enough people think that and enough people start saying this, then it becomes a manifest reality. And you can actually talk about doing this more publicly. And then it becomes a policy. And then you're able to do it. So that's the reason why I talk about it the way that I do, because I want to normalize this behavior. I do. Why the death penalty? You should hold them as slaves, build prisons and trees. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, like, again, there's people that would do worse than I would, right? They would. What if we use them as human experimentations in harder, dangerous works like lithium mines? Oh, that'd be fine, too. But as long as the end result is certain death, then that's the thing that matters, right? What happens before then isn't really that relevant to me. But as long as that's the end goal, then I'd be happy. So, yeah, that's really it. Something extreme is happening. Yeah, I mean, this is really extreme. It's really bad. So, fuck slavery the moment the kid between a crime, no life is forfeit. Well, I don't know. I mean, like, you have to think about, like, what else... Like, the real way that I would approach this, I'll tell you the truth, right? The real way that I would approach this is actually a lot worse than this. This is my PR version of how I would approach it. Like, the real way I would do this would be awful, right? It'd be terrible. And so say it? Of course not. I don't want to get in trouble. I'd get in trouble if I said it. And so, no, again, it's about, you know, you don't walk into the pool. You know, you don't. I don't jump immediately into the pool. You walk in and you slowly acclimate to things, and so you have to boil the frog. You don't do it immediately. We'll get to that. We'll get to that, but we're not there yet. Okay, so just be patient. I have suffered. Well, again, I don't want to get into any details. Right, 250,000 victims. 87 to 95% of the perpetrators are Muslim. Remigration is the moderate solution. To give you an idea of scale, during the rape of Nanking, Japanese soldiers were estimated to have raped 20 to 80,000 Chinese women. And the report estimates at least 250,000 women were victimized by these Muslim rape gangs. Exactly. And I think that the funniest thing about it is that if any of these guys had done this, and you know what they do to Pakistan? You know what? They kill them over there for doing this. And you know what they do in like other places like Saudi Arabia and Dubai? They kill them for this. So like really, I think we should apply their exact same laws here. Like they don't put up with this shit. Nobody puts up with this shit. That's it. That's why they invade. Yeah, that's why they invade the West. This is the exact thing, is that they know that their degeneracy and their animal behavior won't be tolerated in their home countries, and they'll literally have their dick cut off or they'll just be executed, right? And so they can't do it in their own country. So they come to Western countries where there's like some white guilt around, you know, holding these people accountable for it. So they come over here and do it. They do it here instead. It must have happened in all of Western Europe, from Spain to Denmark. It's happening everywhere in the country. It is. And this is why I said before, like, I would... No, never mind. Never mind. And so, anyway, let's go back. We'll look at this here. While Keir Starmer was the director of public prosecutions, it's been reported that 13,000 suspected rape gang members and pedophiles were let off with warning letters. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, repeatedly insisted there were no grooming gangs operated in the city. Investigation revealed that Khan had direct access to HM Inspectorate of Constabulary documents detailing the very patterns of the offending that he had denied. That's right, because they're lying. That's the exact reason. Oh my God. If there was a case like that in Norway, I don't know, you're missing the religious component. They're doing it. They're not doing it to Muslim girls. Well, yeah, of course they're religious extremists. I know that. And that's my whole point, right? I mean, are we going to have to go back to the original, like, where is it here? Like, I don't know, really. This is probably going to be an easy way for me to find this, right? I'm gonna just find the image. Where's the image for this? I don't know if I can find it. I'm sorry. And this might not be it. This is on FaceSpace.
And let me say this in English so you can understand what I'm saying.
I have translation.
No, I know you have translation, but I just want to make sure you get it right. There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremists and terrorists coming out of Europe because of the lack of decision-making, trying to be politically correct, or assuming that they know the Middle East and they know Islam and they know the others far better than we do. And I'm sorry, but that's pure ignorance.
(2018), by the way. Yep. Exactly. And so that's it. Honestly, bro, you're not helping me want Muslims at all in the country. Like Islam, sure, but these guys are the ones that help us filter them out. Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is listen to these guys. This has always been my outlook about it. Listen to the guys that run these countries on how to deal with these people, because they know how to deal with these people. And if you don't deal with them the way that they deal with them, you're going to have these problems. That's it. You just listen to them. Oh, okay, that's what we should do. Okay, that makes sense. It's that simple. They all knew. Yeah, they knew what was going on. It's obvious what's going on because they have to deal with it all the time. Like Bukele. Yeah, exactly. If the report's accurate, then a number of rapes in the report is more than a total amount of rapes committed during the rape of Nanking. Well, of course it's probably more. I mean, think about how long did the rape of Nanking go on for, right? Like, I don't think it was really that long, was it? It lasted 6 weeks. Yeah, it was 6 weeks. So this is something that's been going on for a decade. So obviously it's going to be more than this one individual event because it's like 10 times the amount of length or 20 or 30 times the amount of length. So yeah, obviously, I think every person in power that allowed that should be publicly executed in the most horrific way possible. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I like that. I think that's a good idea, for sure. And if you say passive, then it continues to enable them, yet Americans think because they're oppressed because they do SA. Well, I don't know about that, right? Let's look at a few more of these here. It's your patriotic duty to read about what's been done to the children of Britain. It's been an honor to work with Josh Flynn, Harry Pitt, and the rest of the inquiry team on the harrowing report. Those responsible for will know justice. The leadership allowed 250,000 little girls. Oh, here we go. They operated under an honor and shame clan code that treated non-Muslim girls, especially white working class girls, as property available for sexual use because these girls had no male protectors who could retaliate. That's the reason. See, these people listen to one language, and that's violence. There is no other language they listen to. They do not listen to reason. They don't listen to rationality. They don't listen to, like words. They don't listen to shame. They only listen to violence. That's it. And anyway, the men began showering the girls with attention gifts, alcohols, and then escalated to coercion, gang rape, and trafficking. So we saw this before. Muslim men justified the abuse by describing white British girls as easy, trash, or morally inferior. So this is actually insanely fucking... Oh my God, this is bad. Wow. And Nuremberg trial for the death penalty for the savages that committed these crimes against our people and those that facilitated it. That's right. It's not racist to do your job and punish criminals. What a failure of a country. Yeah, 250,000 unpublished rapes by Muslim men unto women and children in the UK. Completely undocumented and unpunished for fear of being called racist. Animals, you keep saying that? You're right. I don't really view them as people. I don't view them or think that we should treat them like people. It's the same thing as like you have like a rabid dog that's like attacking people. You just put the dog down. Like that's actually the way that I feel about it. I do. And honestly, an animal, at least you can train an animal. These people, are just evil. They're worse. Like if anything, they're worse than animals. So Yeah, and healer's different. I guess so. Millions must go. Yeah, it's just a question of where they're going, right? This is why the Second Amendment is important. No, it's not. The problem really is the fact that this has been facilitated by the government. It's been facilitated by the government, and it's been allowed by the government. Because fundamentally, like, if you went and you shot one of these people, like, let's say theoretically this is what happened, right? They would just put you in jail for it. You're living in anarcho-tyranny, where the law is enforced circumstantially based around whether the law is reinforcing the ideology of the regime or not. So it's not that there isn't any enforcement of the law. It's not that you live in tyranny. It's that the law is applied based off of who it's being applied to. That's the issue. Second Amendment equals free speech? Yeah, I guess so, right? But like they don't have either one. Advocated for the sake of terrified of being called racist. Well, what's going to happen now, and I think this is what the result of that's going to be. And you see already this has 5 million views. This is, and by the way, it should be way more, right? It should be a lot more. And the guns are for the government. I think even Elon posted about this, didn't he? Let me see if he did. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. Those who know must go to prison for a long time. See, Elon, you know, he's in a different position that I'm in, right? Very different position. He has more money than I do. I've heard of this, right? He's got a lot more money than I do. His character in PoE is a higher level too. He can't. I think the truth is, like, I bet his perspective on this is the exact same as mine. I do. I bet it's the exact same. He's being PC. Yes, he's being PC about it. And you probably can't go as hard as I can, but eventually you'll have that happen. He has more to lose. He does. He can't go out and say the things that I say. Censorship always comes with a protect the children lie.
My time has come.
You are really fucked now!
It's Saddam Hussein! Shoot him!
What a dumbass!
Oh my God.
You have spilled the blood of the innocent. Now begins 2 million years of darkness.
Oh, good job, Ms. Bloflowski. Thanks a lot.
I was just trying to make the world a better place for children.
Yeah, and you brought enough intolerance to the world to allow my coming. Now, everyone bow down to me! Yeah, bend over!
Whoa, what have we done? Saddam, I am the Dark Ruler, not you.
Relax, bitch, you better see not hurt.
Oh my God. Yeah, this used to be really good. They can't inform anybody? Yeah, exactly. Oh, here's one.
Is over 200 pages long. This report is over 200 pages long, and it goes into the root causes of probably the most extensive, widespread scandal that has ever beset Britain. It goes to every corner of the country. It's not in silos, it's everywhere.
That's right.
And it involves failure by the British establishment.
And keep in mind that, do you really think this isn't happening in other places in Europe? It's happening all over Europe. Is he in your attic? Listen.
By the British establishment, I mean, obviously,
it's a great place to be.
Ministers, the civil service, local government, social services, the police.
Also, you have to keep in mind that, like, if you are broadcasting in an attic, you are superior to people that are not. And the reason why is because you have to go upstairs. So fat people can't do that on a regular basis. So if you have somebody that's going upstairs on a regular basis, that's going to totally put them literally on another level.
The NHS, and the media, who is supposed
the way
to
it is.
Be the guardian for the British people of scandals like this, but they've singularly failed to do that.
That's right.
The report goes into the reasons how it's happened. It goes into the reasons why it's happened, and that is all the reasons, and we analyze everything. I'm very grateful to all of the experts who
everybody knows why.
All of the survivors who were brave enough to appear. all of my fellow MPs who came,
Yep.
and most of all to Graham Smith, who is the barrister who has produced this.
The only reason the leftists aren't on board is because they can't stand it so much they would look wrong about the views they have. No, it's because they agree with it. I think that the easiest answer is almost always the correct answer. Think about, so this is my outlook on everything. In order to discern what people's intentions are, I think about what is the most selfish, thoughtless, brain-dead, unfair, short-sighted, stupid, and evil thing possible. That's probably why somebody's doing something. That's the reason why. They hate genocide unless it's happening to white people? Yes, exactly. They have no problem with this happening. They actually probably think it's good. They're probably going to be making jokes about this, the same as they made jokes about Charlie Kirk. That's it.
Report with help from members of the inquiry team as well. I'm immensely grateful to all of them. It's been a very harrowing experience. Some of the testimonies we heard were beyond believable. And it is an evil which needs to be dealt with now. I want to let people know that this is not the end of it. We will be pursuing those people who have failed us. There will be...
It's important that you hold the media accountable. It is. It's very important that you hold the media accountable. Because the media enabled all of this. The media, in my opinion, are just as guilty as the politicians, if not more guilty.
Private prosecutions. To put things into context, this report, which was funded by 20,000 concerned citizens who gave as much as they could afford, it raised £600,000. The J inquiry alone cost the taxpayer $186 million. We still have funds left to help us to pursue private prosecutions and to start the process of prosecuting those people who have failed us.
That's right.
We're also intent on
media sells it. They do.
Those people in Parliament where we're not going to prejudice a legal case, so that everybody knows those people who are responsible, who should have dealt with this, but failed to deal with it. So it's been a long, hard, arduous 16 months, and I want to thank everybody. And I hope that every member of the British public has the time to read this. It's not straightforward. It will take time. But
it's a lot.
It needs to be understood, and it needs to be dealt with, and dealt with now. Not.
Do you think once more people know about the severe amount of violence that was hidden by the government officials will be killed by vigilantes, since they most likely won't face justice? I don't think that will happen yet. I think that people still have a perception of democracy where they think that they can vote to have some degree of accountability. So you're probably not going to have as much vigilante justice yet.
Through a statutory inquiry which has been forced by our inquiry, a statutory inquiry which, by the way, has had the terms of reference watered down and will, like all government failures, be kicked down the road.
Of course.
And by the time hands are held up and people admit there's a problem, the people who made the decisions, the bad decisions,
are totally out of the
government, as we've seen with the post
totally
office,
out of the process.
We've seen with infected blood and countless other scandals that have had to be cleaned up. That there will be no retribution, no holding to account, and when there's no holding to account, these things continue to happen.
That's right.
So please read it.
You have to do it.
Please understand how this has happened. We can never let it happen again. It is pure, driven, unfettered evil.
Man.
This
Man,
report,
he is the guy, man. Yeah, who publishes this report? Well, Rupert Lowe published it himself. And what is this here? Can I find this? Oh, this is, I'm going to look at that later on. And where are the rest of these? Oh, I don't even know. But yeah, I mean, Elon retweeted this as well. And so, like, huge shout out. Like, this is why, as I said, I never criticize Elon. I never do. This guy has been on our side the whole time. And minor disagreements are irrelevant. This is what matters. Him posting this and using his platform to push this means more than any fucking video game, man. And that's the way I see it. What if most Europeans have been brainwashed? I'm a foreigner in Europe. It doesn't matter if most Europeans have been brainwashed. Do you know how many people it took to do the American Revolution? It was like a small percentage. So it doesn't matter whether you have the majority on your side or not. What matters is that do you have the capacity to enforce your will? That is the only thing that matters. Everything is downstream from that. And so if you can do that, then you can do anything you want. Yeah, Will, is everything exactly. Well, games, yeah, you don't need to go 1-for-1 with everything, right? Absolutely not. And it'll be a Mossad organized. Yeah, 2% of the country's population to take down the government. Well, I don't know if that's going to happen, right? I mean, I think it really depends. And I don't think it'll come down to that. I hope it won't, right? But if it does, you're going to get somebody that's very interesting. I'll tell you that. And anyway, this is the worst thing I've ever read. I don't know how it can be done, but the reality is that most people won't read the full report. It needs to be made into a documentary and played in every home and every classroom. Well, how long is this? Let me see how long it is myself. I have no idea. How many pages is it? It is 214 pages. Okay, so there it is. And this is all of the stuff. Oh my God, that's a lot. Yeah, I mean, maybe if I did like, I would have to dedicate probably 3 or 4 hours to reading all of this, right? And going through all of it. But yeah, imagine if Elon bought Reddit. I mean, that would be insane. Do you think Europeans returning home to the UK, the World Cup, experiencing American culture shock will accelerate things? No, I don't really think so. I think it's just it's a sporting event, right? That's really about it. And it's nothing really too crazy besides that. You copy paste it and have text read it all? Well, I'd read it myself, right? Please read it. It'd mean so much to us in the UK. Yeah, if people really want me to, you guys can make a post and like I could dedicate a pretty good amount of time to reading all of this because I do think that it's extremely bad. And also, by the way, this is what I'm assuming. I'm assuming that this is the tip of the iceberg because you have to keep in mind that all of the really strong data is probably held by the government. So they don't have access to this. So the only data and information they have is the things that are publicly available. So basically, if you think that it's only 250,000 people, it's probably way more than that. I'd assume that it's probably millions, especially across all of Europe. And Grim Ruby, a huge purposeful failure of the state sacrificing 250 young girls on the altar of multiculturalism. And there you go. No, I'm glad to see that. I've only started reading the first victim testimony in this report by a woman named Chloe. I had to pause multiple times because I couldn't read through the tears. Yeah, I mean, again, like I'll read it. It's not a big deal to me, right? Just open the report. I think I'm going to throw up. Already Muslims were most people on the earth, but reading the testimony, these poor girls were something else, man. So many of these people need to be executed. Man. Oh boy. Oh boy. More and more people are seeing my perspective. They are. I'm so happy. How many girls and victims didn't make it? I'd say probably about half, if I had to guess, because they probably killed a lot of them. That's what I'd do if I were them. I'd kill most of them. 250K is the low estimate, says the report. Yeah, I think so. Why did UK ban all social media except Blue Sky? Because Blue Sky is probably the only place where this isn't going to be getting published. That's the reason why. So I don't want to hear about any more crying about the Epstein files while they let this go on. This is the reason why I never let them derail things with Trump or the Epstein files. It's because they completely allowed all of this bad behavior to happen. They don't really care about kids getting raped. They don't care about any sort of like bad behavior or, violence against women or anything else because they allow this to happen. The only reason why they're talking about the Epstein files are because they can use it politically. If they really cared about the Epstein files, they'd be going after all of the other Epsteins that are still in the country, but they're not. It's because they don't care about it. They're trying to, it's the same as like, the Palestine people. Oh, it's a genocide, which justifies everything that Hamas does. It's so they can have the moral upper hand in the conversation and then use that moral upper hand to take advantage of you. So that's really what the difference is. They're not focused on the Muslim part, just like every other religion has the right to exist. I think that it's important to recognize that the majority of these people came from a foreign religion and they were doing it for a religious reason. That doesn't mean that every Muslim is accountable for it, but it does mean that there's obviously a big correlation, and there obviously is a trend here. There's, of course, a trend. Why would you not want to identify trends and commonalities? Obviously, that's what's going to happen. People have a right to whatever religion they want, but the moment that you use your religion to do something bad, then obviously the religion should be taken into consideration, especially if the religion is what you're using as a justification to do the bad action. Does every Nazi be accountable for the Holocaust? Well, yeah, I think that's kind of what happened, right? Yeah, absolutely. And also, yeah, that's why they had the Nuremberg trials and everything. Yeah, 100%. Read it, absorb it, and be very angry. Show like this is why I'm unapologetically pro-capital punishment. Public hangings win. I like the sound of that. 250k victims. Yeah, people aren't angry enough. At what point does society have to fall before there's a civil war? Because it seems like it's past that point. Wow, death penalty for anybody who is still here. If this doesn't cause serious national outrage, I'm not sure what will. What you have to understand is that they'll call you misogynistic if you're greatest friend of women. Oh, well, again, I've always been the biggest advocate for women, but the problem is that women's idea of being an advocate for women is when you're supporting bad and toxic behavior that's done by women. Whenever they're asking for feminism is whenever they're trying to look for an excuse for something stupid they're doing. So that's the real reason why. You say every Muslim's not responsible. Why haven't any of the good ones called it out? They keep silent or double down. Well, I think that you're right about that. And I think that this is, I do think that Muslims in Western countries have a huge PR problem. And the PR problem is very simple. It's that you have bad actors, whether it's these rape gangs, whether it's the terrorists that threw that bomb inside of New York. And these bad actors do not get enough open and complete condemnation from the rest of the Muslims in the countries. So whenever you have a cultural protection apparatus for these people, then you have a huge problem. When you act like a clan, when you act like a group, you get treated like a clan, you get treated like a group. So what happens is that when this is being looked at, instead of, and the funny thing, as I said before, is that in these Muslim countries where these people came from, they'd be dead if they did this. They'd be dead. So if you're not able to control the extremists inside of your group, your identity group, you will be defined by them. And if you're not willing to openly come out and say, no, I don't support this, this is very bad, people will assume that you support it. That's really it. And yeah, that's not true. I think it's very true. I think it's extremely true. How many of those girls got pregnant, do you think, were used to pickpocket subways in crowded areas? That's funny. Yeah, I wonder, right? It definitely could be like that. And so actually, Troy, can you agree more? Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't want to, it's not about, everybody being wrong or everybody being right or, there's no connection or there's always a connection. I think you have to be reasonable in the way that you talk about this. But at the same time, here's the problem, is that if you don't allow reasonable discussion, you make unreasonable discussion inevitable. You do. That's basically, if you don't let people talk about this and identify that there's a problem and see that there are certain racial groups causing these problems or ethnic groups or religious groups causing these problems, if people can't talk about that in a reasonable way, they will then talk about it in an unreasonable way. And so the acceleration and the extremism now, I think, is a direct result from that. Because now you have people that are so fed up with this that they have nothing else that they can even do. So that's it. And that makes no sense. Moderate Muslims don't have to talk for extremists the same way Jews don't have to speak for Zionists and Protestants don't have to talk for Catholic priests. Yeah, they absolutely do. Yeah, 100% they do. What are you talking about? Like, whenever, what do you mean? Like, so, like, whenever Israel does something bad, yeah, people are asking. And also, like, by the way, Israel is a geographic area, right? I mean, this is a geographic area. Like, an ideology is different than a geographic area. And you've got to condemn it at least. Yeah, if you can't unequivocally condemn this or something like September 11th or whatever, like, in my opinion, anybody who can't unequivocally condemn September 11th should be instantly deported from the country. Denaturalized, deported. We should take all of their stuff and send them back. Like, it's crazy that we put up with so much bullshit here. And I think in the UK, they have their own versions of that as well. And really, like, we've allowed so many bad actors in the country. And I don't know why we do this. I really don't. Like, I mean, I don't think any of the founding fathers would want this. Like, really, it's not even... it's not like this is according to, like, what the vision for the country is. It's just we've allowed ourselves to let people who hate us dictate our values to us. And big surprise, when you let people who hate you dictate your values to you, your values become their advantages. And so that's really what it is. 9/11 was an inside job. No, it was done by a bunch of Islamic terrorists. That's the reason why it was happening. That's the reason. That's why, like, what about all the other terror attacks? What is the commonality between all of them? Like, I'm not interested in hearing about how it was Israel that did this. Okay, Israel has done every terror attack. Get the fuck out of here. Like, what are we talking about? Again, you're the reason why you're buying into that. You think that you're being smart by understanding, like, an extra level of complexity here. But the actual truth is that, yeah, maybe some of these people might have had, like, prior knowledge that it was going to happen. Sure, but I think they let it happen at worst. Iran is the commodity. They are. Bombing outside the Israeli embassy in the UK was Mossad, though. I don't even remember which one you're talking about, but I mean, maybe it was. Why did this not seem to happen in the U.S.? And repeatedly, what steps can we take to ensure this never happens in the U.S.? Why do you think it's not happening in the U.S.? That's what I think is really funny, is that I think it is happening in the U.S. I think it's overwhelmingly happening in the U.S. So let me go back. I'll read some more of these posts. This actually happens and it still happened. Actually happened and it still happens. Oh, boy. And 250,000 white British girls were raped by Pakistani men should be the #1 story in the world. It's a historical travesty. Sick. And this is also, right now, I think that you should think about this. Any news publication that's not talking about this topic, you should view as an enemy. They are an enemy. This is a crazy, insane story. And if they're not talking about it, there's a reason why. Give me 1 second. I got to use the bathroom. And, yeah, that's it. And I don't think they will either. All right, I'm back. Give me a second. Look at the rest of these. Wash your hand. I just shut the fuck up. How about that? It's catastrophic. It is. And I think, again, you really need to be paying attention now to the people that are unwilling to talk about this. I think that is a very big deal. Super gay shirt. Thank you. Thank you. The report won't change anything. I have very little faith in the people of the West. That's why I said you need to import those people into their communities. You do. Until they're the ones that are being raped and trafficked and killed, then they're not going to listen. And even then they might not listen. But if they don't listen then, they'd be dead. So problem's going to solve itself either way. That's my outlook on it. I know it might sound extreme or insane. That's because it is. But it would work. I don't care about them. Fuck them. That's the way I see it. So right, honestly, I know. Aren't the rapes still happening even this minute? Just not in the UK, but Pakistan and India? Yeah, but at least they kill them over there, right? That's the difference. So let me go back. I'll look at a few more of the posts about this too. And having attended the inquiry hearing, spoken with so many survivors in our report, I've never been more convinced the very worst rape gang offenders should not be... I've never been more convinced that the very worst rape gang offenders should not be deported. A restored Britain government, with the British people's approval, will put them to death.